This is a continuous of previous video. I would recommend please visit the first part of the NumPy, then come to the video to make better understanding. Thank you. Okay. So suppose I have one data. It take one any data. I generate one data. Now I know how to generate the data. I'm generating one data from 2 to 20 and 5 to 5 dimension. Row 5, column 5 here. This is my data set. Okay. How to access the data? So suppose there are the two way to access this. Suppose if I say data 2 and 2. So what it will do? These 2 means this first bracket will represent the row. So it will go the 2, second, third row. It start from the 0. So this is the 0th row and this is the 5th row. Means 0, first, second, third and 4th row, right? So it will go the third row, this row, 0, first, second. And these two represent the column. So third column, 0, 1, 0, 1, 2. So it will represent this 7. If I give here 1, so it will represent the 10, this one, right? So it's easy. But you can do the same thing in this way. Without having the 2 bracket, we can do the 1 bracket and you will get the same output. Okay. Now I'm showing one of the interesting thing. If you go and say 1 colon 4 and this one, what does it mean? Means that if comma before comma is show the row and after comma is show the column. So I have not given anything after comma, that means all the column, all this column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But here I have given the 1 to 4. So 1 to 4 means it will from the first one to the fourth one. Okay. So let me show you first. So from first to fourth. So start from the 0. So this is the 0 one. I will not take 1. So this is the first one. So first from 4. So this is the 4th, right? So if you see that what I have highlighted, this is the 1 to 4. So that's why you can get the same data right here. 1 to 4 means excluding the 4. 1 means index and 4 is the range but excluding the 4. So eventually it is the first, second and third index. So this is the 0th one, this is the first, second, third index, right? Now if you want to the column wise access, so in this case all the row, it represents all the row but it represents the column. So they will take the column from first to third. So this is the 0th column, this is the first, second and third, means this much, but up to here, all these 3. I'm not able to highlight, but the 15, 5, 7, this one. So let me output. So output is this part, right? Now if I combine to both, let me combine to both part. What I discuss means I will combine this both. What I will do, see, this part is 1, 4 here I took and this 1, 4 I took here. So it will combination of this common of the above 2 output. Now this is the common. Let me again explain this. So this is the 1, 2, 4, right? So this is the, if you see 1 to 4 we have this data for the row wise and column wise this data, right? So now it is taking from the 16, right? So because on this data, if you overlap this data, the intersection become this one. And if you want to take directly from here 1 to 4, 1 to 4 means 1 to 4, this is the 1 to 4 and the column wise 1 to 4 from here, right? 16, 3, 15. So it is showing that this data. So this way you can fetch the data from particular row and column. But if you want to fetch the data for the first row, so don't give any one. So when you give the 1, it will show the first row data. So don't confuse with this part and this part. Here I am giving the row and column, here I am giving only the row, so it is showing the row data. And another way is to, I have already showed you, if you take one and column, so what it will do, it will show the data accessing the first onwards. Means the meaning of this is, let me type here. So accessing the first onwards or the rows means not first, from first onwards take all. So if you see here our data is this one, so no, don't take the first one, after first take all the data from 8 to 3. So if you see, it is showing from 8 to 3. This is called the from data. But one another thing is that we represent till data. Till means accessing till row 2 means the first two row data. So it was showing the data first onwards, it is showing till two rows, so only the first and second rows here. Okay, and I have already mentioned that how to access the column. So let me again should put it here. So if you want to access the column, so I will give column that and 1 2 3. So this is the way we can access the column. So what I am showing to here, the first column will show all the row, right? And on top of that I need 1 2 3 column, right? So if you see, if you have forgot about the data, let me show the data again. So in this data I want to all the row from 14 to 15, but column 1 to 3. 3 means excluding the 3, right? So from 1, this is the 0, this is 1, this is a 2. So this 2 column, you can see this is the 2 column is coming, right? Now one quiz, one small question. Now you tell me what would be the output this one. So if you see, I am taking 2, this is the row, right? 2 to 3 means from second, this is only second because till 3 second, and from here this one, right? So intersection is the 7, so is the 7 is coming. This is the way to get the 7. Now the next topic is that how to do the shape, size, orientation change in the NumPy. So that is one of the important topic when we use extensively in the machine learning. So here not the function, this is the attribute. So just I want to say, so as I have already showed you shape, it is not a method, right? So this is just the attribute. It is showing the shape, what is the shape is there. And if you do the size, tell me what is the difference. Size is means number of element in this array, so 25, and what is the shape, what is the dimension, right? So it is showing that. And now we have the one more, data dot ndim. It is showing 2. Can you do the guess what is the ndim? Number of dimensions. So we have 2 dimension, this is the 2. If it is a 3 dimension, it will show the 3 dimension. That's why the use of ndim. And again, if you want to know what is the ndim, we can use the help command and put the ndim. It can show the detail what is the ndim, right? So anytime you can use the help command if you get any stuck. Now the one of the important, another important is that reshaping of data. This is equally very important. How to do the reshaping of data. It is too much we are going to use, always going to use in the machine learning. So for that, first create one array, very small array, and if you see, this is the just one number, one dimension array, right? If you do the shape, it is the one dimension, right? Only the rows are there, 6 element. And again, if you do want to use, and then it is showing the one data, right? And take now I want to what I'm going to do it now, this is the one dimension array, right? Now I want to change the shape dimension into two dimension, having the data if the 2 and 6 means two rows and the three column. So we can change it. Now if you see the same data, what data was in the one dimension, now this data come into the two dimension, if you see. So divided this one. And again, if you want to the reshape to go back into the 6, we can put the 6. It will sorry, it will the, so you can see again you can convert. So we can convert from one dimension to the two dimension, two dimension to the three dimension. We can do that, right? Now we have already seen that it will convert into the 2 3, but now if I do the 3 2, so now the number of row the 3 and column 2, so they divided the number in the different dimension way, right? And anytime you can change the dimension, but now the one but keep in mind that number of element should be divisible in the way of the what the number you have. Suppose I want to use this and say 3 4, we can't, because to make this matrix we need the 12 element, but we have only the 6 element, it will not work. So that you have to keep in mind, right? So now suppose take the same thing, what the data I have, let me do some more experiment on the data, and if I do that reshape, interesting thing, if I do the reshape 6 into 1, what it will do, it will do the 6 rows and 1 column. You can see now this is the two dimension data, right? And if I do the reshape, now this is a question for you, what it will do. So interesting thing is that, or let me put that the 2 here, then I will give the answer. So what happened, if you see here, we have given the 3 2, right? So to make the number 6, because we have the 6 element, so if you want to the 2 column, then you have to identify, you have to calculate, if I want to make the 2 column, how many rows should be there. So what you do, what you did, 6 divided by 2 and you got the 3. If you have the big data set, it's not might be easy and you do the calculation. So to avoid that, we have the new concept -1. What the -1 is saying that, okay, you have the data in this way, you want to 2 column, just you give the -1 and the 2, they will calculate the row, that API, you no need to do anything. Now you can see I have not given the 3 here. This is the same output what we have here, right? But here we provide the 3, here it calculated by the numpy itself. So -1 means you how much you want take, and remaining thing they will make the things, that is the -1. And suppose if I do the same thing, just for you understanding, if I say the 1 here, what it will do, what is the value of this side, 6, right? So you can make the 6. And now another thing, if I give the make the opposite side, so if I give the 2 and -1, so now I am instructing to numpy, I want the 2 rows, I don't care for the column, you calculate number of column. So see, it give the 2 rows and it calculate the column them itself, right? So this was an interesting thing. Now we have the another topic on the same numpy, two very important feature of the flatten. When you do the CNN programming, you have the multi-dimensional data, and one point of time you have to fit all the data in one dimension. So how we used to do that, right? So for that, what I will say, make one two-dimension data, is a two-dimension data, right? And I have to convert into the one dimension data. So what the easy way you can do that, we can use the flatten API. It will convert into the one dimension data. You can see It was a two-dimension data, now it convert to the one-dimension data. But the similar API is also there, Waver. It will give that the similar kind of things. Then what is the difference and where we should use first one or the second one? To make this understanding, I have prepared one note here. Let me show you that note. So he's saying if you use the Waver, it will give the only reference, not the original copy. It is view of the original copy. But if you use the pattern, it will give the original copy. So in the original copy, that means here you can say if this is the view, then if you modify the data, it will change the original data also. It could notice the value of original data may also change, but it is the copy of his original array, so any value of is not affected. So suppose you did the pattern and you want to change some data in the pattern, it will not affect the original one. But in this case of the Waver, it will change. So let me take one example for better understanding. So if you take, suppose I have already the A. This is the A data, right? This is the A data, two dimension. Let me copy here for easy purpose. So I make the A. Okay, the same data I have taken. And for the A, I use the Waver API, and for the B, I use the pattern. So I have the RAFT, right? Now both RAFT I modified with the 100. I modified this RA and FA, and I want to see whether it changed the parent data or not, A and B. So now if you see, A is part of the Waver, right? So it changed, it did the 100. B was the part of pattern, it didn't change, it contained the as it is, it was the original data, it didn't update here. So this is the difference between both. Now another thing for the one dimensional data, let me come back, what are the data type data we had for the data. And if you want to change the data, reshape and keep the 25. So it will also, what they will do, they will do the similar kind of pattern. They will, I know the 55 data is there, so they will make all the data in one dimension. So this is another way to do that, right? But thing is that if you don't know what is how many numbers are there, right? So you can use the same thing with one of the interesting thing. Instead of the 25, we can say asterisk data dot shape. So they will automate so they will take the 25 and shape was the 25. So it, because the return is the 25, they will do the 25. So yeah, okay, let me clear here. When I give the 25, this is the one number 25, but in this case I pass the 5 into 5, so they convert into 5 into 5, right? And let me do that. I want to convert into 3 dimension, because the output of this is the 5 into 5 into 1, right? So they will convert into the 3-dimensional data. So something of the duplicate API, but you should know that where to use what. And now I'm going to use the concatenate API. So if you want to, you have the two list and you want to concatenate, how to do that, right? So suppose I have the two list, two array, x and y, they have the data. You can print x and you can print, okay, make some one more line and print the y. So if you say we have the two data, two single dimension data, right? One thing, now I am going to concatenate both. So what I'm saying, make the concatenate x, y and x. So x is the 1 2 3, y is the 4 5 6, again x is the 1 2 3. But did you notice it concatenate from the horizontally, right? means if this is the one dimension, but in two dimension we will have some different way to do that. So before doing the two dimension, let me give some background here. So in two dimension, question is that how you want to concatenate, horizontal or vertical, right? That's why we can pass the extra argument which way you want to do that. So let me show. I have this data and I want to do concatenate itself, data. So now question is that this is the one. Another one we're going to add this side, horizontal side or the vertical side, right? So now see that it will add the vertical because by default it will add the vertical. If you want to add the horizontal, you have to pass the axis, which axis you want to do that. So I want to do the axis 1 is says the, I have mentioned here, one is shows the horizontal, right? So now this time if you see, they concatenate in the horizontal. So this is the one up to here and there is here. And if you make and 0 is by default, it will take the 0 is vertical, right? So this is the way to concatenate. And concatenate does not means that you can only the concatenate with the same data type. Doesn't mean you can do the concatenate in the. So I have the one array 1 2 3 4 5 6 abcd, so you can see that we do that. But interesting thing is that as the Python property is there, they convert everything in the string. So now it was the number integer, now it is the string character, but we can do that. We learn the concatenate how it works. Now we can see the append. Similar kind of things, but the way is the API is different. So how the append will work in this way. Let me show what data set we have. We have this data set, and in this data set, if I want to add some data, append some data, so they will append at the end. So I want to append 1 2 3 4 5. So if you see, they convert into the one dimensional and one dimensional at the end. Up to 3 it was the original data. Now they add the 1 to 3. So again they add at the end. But if you want to see, no, you should add one more. Means I have said that 0 means the vertical. I want to see, no, you have to add a 0, means one new row should become. Then if you see, they added the new row. So axis is very important. Axis will depend upon which kind of you want to do that append. And the similar kind of things we have the staking. Staking is the do the similar kind, but the different API you have. These are the important things we use in data science. So what stacking is do? So suppose you have the horizontal stacking and the vertical stacking both. So horizontal stacking, if you say np dot horizontal stacking, I want to do the both data. So you can see the same kind of thing. What we have seen is already there, right? The concatenate. We can see the same output. Different way is there to do that. But internally some performance difference would be there, but this is the common way we can do that. And you can do the vertical stacking also. If you do the vertical stacking, so how to do the vertical stacking, instead of the h put the v. So in this way you no need to pass the axis, right? So without passing the axis, so if you forgot which axis for what, then can use the h stack or the v stack. It might be that's one, right? So but some rules are there, you have to keep in mind that rules. So if you use the horizontal stacking, let me put that rule, so it might be handy for you. So if you want to use the horizontal stacking, the number of rows should be same. If the vertical stacking number of columns should be same, right? And the similar way we have the one important concept is splitting. So suppose if you have one matrix and you want to split it, how it works. So this is also one of the important API. So for take, okay, so now take one data, we have data, right? Now the horizontal split, we have the okay, we have the horizontal split, and we can use the same split also with the axis parameter, but I am taking direct here horizontal split. So what it will do, take the data, this data, and divide it into the horizontally split into the three variables A, B and C. How it divide? The first array would be the 2, means the first 2 rows, and he will take the last one also 2, and between 2 and 3, between the 1. So if you do 1, now take the 1, it should have the 2. So this is the 2 column. B would be have the 1 column, and C would be have the 2 column, right? This is the way it divide. Now if you take the vertical splitting, so vertical splitting is the same command. Instead of the H split, we can take the V split, and we can take the 2. So it will divided the 2 part A and B. A would have the 2, the complete row, and remaining would be go to the B. So see, remaining is go to the B. So that's why it was the, I covered almost all the things here, and the next video would be continue for the other things on the NumPy. Thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe this channel. Thank you very much.